Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me.
Hey
y'all.
welcome to Witty Witty Banter.
I'm Monica.
And I'm Paola, and today we're gonna go down memory lane.
Yes.
But first, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Still getting used to the new place. As I said in the last two episodes, I moved into an apartment with my boyfriend Marco. And so we're still getting used to things. Right before the episode started, I was telling Paola all about it and the fact of my OCD kicking in and organizing the closet and everything like that. So it's been good. Joel has gotten used to his new room, his bed and everything. And
Yeah.
his bed is like one of those, like, the frame is like a floating frame.
Oh, okay,
So,
cool.
and then there's LED lights underneath it. So he's like, he loves it.
Dang, dream room.
Oh,
How old
yeah.
is he? Like 5?
He's going to be 6 in January.
Dang. Is he a
So-
Capricorn like me?
I think so.
Oh. King.
No, wait, no. Because I think he's an Aquarius because he's close to Dad's birthday.
Okay, well,
He's
that's
in the
my
same
rising. No, not my rising. My moon. That's my moon. It's okay. It's in my chart somewhere.
He's in the same month. Is
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
King. Still the best.
No, but he's doing good. We had him this weekend, and then we were playing a video game on the PS5 because he is like what his dad does and what he does.
Mhm.
Like that's their bonding, and it's this video game that I didn't know was created for PlayStation, but it's a video game to teach how to play like on the controller, and
Whoa.
it comes with every PlayStation console ever since the very first one. I
Don't
didn't
tell
know
me.
that.
Don't tell me. I was playing that on the PlayStation, like literally the PlayStation, the first
Like
one,
the very first one.
thinking it was like a little like. Ooh.
Well, no, but this one is really cool. It's called, what is it called? Astro's Playground or something like that.
That's so cool because I remember there was one PlayStation game. I don't know if it came with the console or not, but it like helped you press the little buttons like the
Yeah.
0, the O, the triangle, the square, and like you had to match that and then like be able to move the little joystick.
Yes, so it's kind of like that.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. But with this one, because it's the PS5 and it's like I guess that's the newest one until they make another one like a
Right.
year later.
Mm-hmm.
This one shows all the different consoles, the remote controls, the memory cards, the like you
Oh,
remember whenever
dang.
PlayStation had their own like kind of like Wii where it's like Wii Fit.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they showed those like and I'm over here giving him a history lesson of all the things. So it's teaching him about all the different things in history for the PlayStation for Sony. And then like throughout the game you have to find like pieces and artifacts and puzzles. So that puzzle is like when the first PlayStation was created to now.
Whoa.
So he's like getting a whole history lesson as well as like like playing the game. So he was having a blast. I was having a blast because like it really is memory lane, you know? Because
Yeah.
it's like I remember when we first bought the very first PlayStation. And I know it's like a nerdy moment for me, but I'm just like, wow, oh my gosh, can you believe that? And I'm over here like overreacting.
It's
but
a CD, it's a DVD
can you
disc
believe
thing.
that? And then it's the blue back of the CD and blah blah blah. And Marco and I are like, yes. And so Joel's getting all excited because he's playing the game.
Aww.
But with this game, because the controls are different now for the PlayStations, like you have to blow air into the control to get it to do certain things.
What?
And then yeah, dude.
I
have to show
I haven't
you.
played PlayStation in forever. I think all I do is like play Nintendo Switch if
Yeah.
I play a video game.
No, for me, that was kind of like, and it's not like in our love language to play video games together because, to be honest, I still have my PS4. So I have the PS4 in the bedroom and he has the PS5 in the living room.
Okay, is it because y'all are too competitive or is it because you guys like different games?
It's both. I think if we were to play a game, I think one of us would be pissed. And so, like, I think it's just better for us to just do our own thing. So after I saw Joel play, I was like, okay, I really want to play Kingdom Hearts now.
Aww.
And Kingdom Hearts, and me in theory, we talked about this before. Kingdom Hearts is one of those games that is super nostalgic for me. I started playing it the second one.
Okay.
So and it's weird. I went like second and I was like, okay, so I want to play the first one. And now it's like all these different parts. So there's like a 0.8, there's a 1.8, there's a 2.2. It's like all these different stories that are in between the stories.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. I'm a nerd. I'm telling you. I am telling you. And I go way into it too much. And so Marco will play his video games in the living room. I'll play my video games in the bedroom. And then, like, we come back together eventually. So,
It's like, how did your game go?
I lost. I died like 5 times. No, but yeah, so our weekend was really good. We had Joel this weekend and it was a lot of
Aw.
fun. He didn't want to leave.
Yay.
And then we also went to Marco's nephew's baptism.
Oh,
So Ezra
nice.
got baptized this weekend and it was really nice to see. It's been a little bit since I've been in a church. So it felt really good. And I talk about my spirituality ever so often, but yeah, it was good. It was good to be around his
Nice.
family and just kind of have like a chill weekend.
Yeah.
And but how was your weekend?
Dude, mine was awesome. We celebrated our friends, the Markowitz. They got married this
Yay!
weekend. So we went to
Good.
North Carolina and got to see a lot of our friends who live out there and also like Christians. They're pretty much Christians' friends, now my friends. You know how that
Yes.
goes. So
The
it was
inheritance.
just, yes, exactly. I got to hang out with the boys, you know. It's so funny because like they were on tour together when we first started dating. So like me and Christian started dating 2017 and that was in August. And then 3 months later, so like November-ish, he left to Australia with these guys.
I remember that.
And so yeah, we had a little long distance trial for like a month and a half or maybe 2 months. I don't even know. But yeah, they're the ones who pretty much like were just keeping me laughing and keeping me at ease while I was, you know, like, what are you guys doing? You know,
Right.
like
I mean, well,
I
it
want to
was
be there.
it was so new for y'all. I think I met him and some pictures popped up for the
Really?
month too. Some pictures popped up. They always do. And it was like the first time I met him was actually Halloween.
Yes, that's right. And I was wearing like
We had to go to the store.
yes, because I
girl.
needed to get some zombie makeup because our little costume was gonna be he was the shark and I was
Yeah.
like the girl he bit the arm off.
Yeah, y'all already had like a group costume or like a couple,
A couple
costume.
costume.
So I knew like the moment I met him, and I have been telling you for years. I'm like, I already know y'all are gonna get married.
It was written in the stars. What can I say? But yeah, so we got to see one of the boys get married because everybody
Aw.
else is either single or has a girlfriend,
Yeah,
like barely maybe getting into the relationship. So it was nice to see another one of the boys get married and settle down
Yeah.
with his wife, now wife. So congratulations, Olivia
Yes,
and Alex. We
congratulations.
love you guys. It
I don't
was
know
an
y'all,
amazing
but
wedding.
congratulations.
You know, we can feel the love all the way over here. No, it was so much fun. It was just like a quick weekend getaway. Like Joelle, we didn't want to leave either.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, you know how in Mexican families there's a recalentado and you just all hang out in like in front of the TV, out in the backyard type of thing after like a big party.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Jewish families because this was a Jewish wedding, and we just spent the afternoon at their house. Todos allí like just gathered around in front of the football TV, you know, like
Yeah.
watching the Giants.
Oh, girl, I
Yeah.
didn't.
I didn't even watch the Cowboys. I was
No.
like, I don't know.
We went to like a taco place after the baptism, and like all the guys are on like fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the brothers and the whatever, like the
So
nephews.
they're all like,
so they're all like watching, and I'm like, dude. Once I saw the score, once we got to the third
I didn't
quarter,
even see what
I was
the
like,
score
no,
was.
I'm done. I don't even want to talk to like anybody about it. I know my dad's at home, like just, you know,
Pissed off.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm good. This season, no. This season, I was like so hopeful, but yeah, no,
It's not looking good.
not at all.
See, we don't really watch football. We like basketball more in our
Basketball
household.
is the thing. Yes, I watch all sports because that's just my way of bonding with dad.
Yeah.
It's been a little different since I've moved, but I mean, we both like talk to each other like, can you believe this? You know, can you believe this?
The Dacracy.
No, for real, that should be a thing.
Dacracy. Coined by David Whiteman, one of Christian's band leaders. He was like, man, that Dak and his Dacracy. One day he'll like get it zeroed in, and the other day it's like, where the hell did he throw this? Like, who was there?
Yeah, no, man, it just sucks right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna wait for Next year's gonna be our year, man. Next year's gonna be our year.
I don't know. 2025 is it going to be our year? We'll see. Find out. Stay tuned.
But yeah,
Oh
no,
my
and then
gosh.
also like I'm loving the fact that the sweater weather is starting to happen.
I know.
So I'm like, I was telling you earlier, I was like, I'm not used to like the stitching, like the knitted sweaters. I'm like,
Dude,
but
I
let
love
me go ahead and
sweaters.
try it.
Yeah,
Let me go ahead and try
it's
it.
so cozy.
Yes.
Dude, back to the Cowboys. Last thing, because like you mentioned, it's something that you bond with your dad. También nosotros, like my family, they are a big Cowboys football family. Me personally, I'll watch it because people are watching it. I
Yeah.
know the game. I was a cheerleader, so I understand the game, and I get into it. But the only reason that I watch the Cowboys now is to hear Dad go, "Here we go!"
Right? No, for real. Here we go.
Here we go.
Can you go somewhere? Like, can you go?
And I'm like just waiting for him to say it,
Here we go.
and nothing happens. I'm like,
Yeah, he said it. I can see it too. No,
I'm like, yes.
when I first heard it, I was like,
here we go.
are we serious? We serious right now? We serious?
I love it. I love it. Keep doing it, Dak. You do,
Do
your thing.
something,
Do your
though.
thing.
Do something. Do something. Just do it. 'Cause I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And I know our listeners are gonna, agree with us.
Yeah, especially if you're from the DFW area. Because
my
I don't know what we're
gosh.
doing right now. And then ultimately, baseball's over with now. The Dodgers
Yeah,
won.
the Dodgers.
So congratulations to
Yay.
y'all.
Out of the two, the East Coast and the West Coast, I was going for the West Coast because my husband's from California.
Oh, there you go. I was like, yeah, wait, there's a reason.
There's a reason. It's like, yeah, out of the two West Coast, so I'm glad the Dodgers won.
No, but it seems like it's been a good weekend for sure.
Yeah, it has been a really good weekend. Good week. October is over. Halloween. Did you celebrate Halloween?
We didn't this time only because we were just moving in. And so there was a lot of things that I wish we could have done. Ultimately, so Marco gets Joelle every other weekend. And so because it didn't land on the weekend for Halloween, we just didn't do it.
Celebrate it, yeah.
Not to say that we don't. I do love Halloween. It's a lot of fun. I do like dressing up. I do like the whole candy thing and, seeing everybody in their costumes and having a good time. Even as an adult, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I'm going to be dressing up as something. But this year, it just didn't happen. And so even Marco was like, man, we should have just like left some candy on outside the apartment. And because there's kids that walk around. And I was like, well, maybe next year,
Yeah,
there's always next year. But what about y'all?
Every year since we got our house, I like go out and give out candy and see all the little kids. It's so much fun because like our neighborhood is pretty nice. It's not like super rich or fancy, but we do live right next to a park, so a lot of kids and families come to our neighborhood, and so it's just really fun to like see them. But this year Christian actually had a gig at Triumphs in Dallas, and so we got dressed up. He was a skeleton and I was a Catrina. So I was like, you know what? At midnight, it's going to be Dia de los Muertos. So like, might as well, the two sides of one coin type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to celebrate Halloween until midnight and then it's Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, just like some of the customs, like with other people's cultures. Well, not necessarily other people's cultures, but just like more of the whitewash thing where they're like, okay, Halloween is over, and then they skip over Thanksgiving and they go straight to Christmas.
Yes.
Like, bro, what?
No, I saw a meme or a reel, and he was like, don't come for me. He's like dressing up as Santa Claus, and he's like, don't come for me because there ain't no Thanksgiving music out here, so I gotta sing some carols.
Like, we gotta get ready.
We gotta get ready
a month in advance. Yeah, no, and I understand it, but it's just kind of like, can we just enjoy Thanksgiving first?
Right.
Like,
or just enjoy some downtime before.
Yeah,
the
you don't need to go all out just yet. And then I think there was even Mariah Carey, where she's like, "It's time."
Yeah.
And she was like, "It's not time yet." I think she even like got to the point where she's like, "It's not time."
Yeah, she's like, you know what? Let's chill out. My husband, he's like, I try to stay away from the reels, away from the stores that played Mariah Carey. He was like, last year, I think I made it until a week before Christmas before hearing Mariah Carey.
No, for
All
real.
I want for Christmas is you.
Like, I was in Target yesterday and there was Christmas music already. I was like, okay.
Not gonna lie though, October hits and I'm like, or a little cold breeze hits and I'm like, It's the most wonderful
Right?
time of the year. But it's in my head though, because I know it's not socially acceptable.
I mean, I think it's more socially acceptable here than it is anywhere.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
No, I remember working at Dallas Baptist University, like in the undergrad. So, for the people that don't know, like where your mail comes from, like where all of like the flyers and like the pamphlets and stuff, I did that. So you're welcome. I sent out letters, like I packed the mail and put the
Dang.
yeah. So I was part of what they call track, which it's just like keeping track of like the prospective students and like making sure they're
So like all the DBU pamphlets and
yeah,
stuff like that.
give you
Okay.
pamphlets, like letters.
Girl, I thought you were gonna go down like, all right, so we go down this tunnel and there's actually a
Basically.
mailbox
No, no, no,
thing
no,
with all
no.
of your mail.
For real, we were in the very, very back. So, like, imagine you have your people in the front that welcome you. Hey, I'm so happy you're here. Like, welcome to Dallas Baptist University. You have those people in the front.
Mhm.
And then you go into the office, and it's really small, but you have, like, the counselors that you work with as far as, like classes or core classes or things like part of your degree. And then behind that, so it's like even more of a tunnel. It's the people that get in contact with you to book like tours and stuff like that. And then you have even farther back where everything is, and that was us.
That was where you were at.
And so, no windows.
Oh dang.
Yeah, no windows. If you had to go to the bathroom, and I'm not meaning to talk mess. That's not where I'm going, because I loved my job. I loved the people that I worked with.
Uh-huh.
I liked the job because I was able to listen to music and to also like do what I needed to do. But whenever it came time for Christmas, like it wasn't even Christmas yet. Like literally, like how you were saying, once that breeze comes in, everybody was playing Christmas music in November. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so over it. I'm like, I'm in choir. We have to sing this.
Yes.
But it's not to hate on Christmas. I love Christmas too. I just think holidays are a little bit harder for myself and my family because we've experienced loss before,
yeah.
and we can talk about that as we talk about the next subject.
Yeah.
But I love Christmas. I love all of the holidays, but just give them their timing.
Yeah, give them their time. Relax, take it slow.
Take a drink of your eggnog and calm down, because they're already putting it out, girl. They're already putting that out there too.
Girl, have you had a good eggnog though?
I've never had it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask my suegro for his recipe of eggnog.
Yeah.
He puts ice cream in there. He puts rum. He puts all
Ooh.
sorts of deliciousness in there, and I'm like, okay, that's actually a good eggnog.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really starting to like this eggnog.
Woo! But yeah, no, I'm excited for the holidays, but happy to take some time off and just like relax.
Yeah, breathe.
Yeah, just breathe. But yeah, so memory lane, we were just kind of talking about it, how we celebrate Halloween and then
Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos as part of our both, dual traditions between our American side and our Mexican side.
Yeah.
And for me, Dia de los Muertos wasn't something that like I grew up really like practicing or celebrating.
Yeah.
We definitely like we didn't have an ofrenda or anything like that growing up, but we definitely like talked about our loved ones, and it was one of those things that like we always remember the dead.
Yeah.
No matter if it's like an actual day or just in general, with the banter, the witty reading around in the table, and like the memories, the stories and stuff like that. So like I knew about Dia de los Muertos, but I never really experienced it until I went to Mexico, maybe when I was, I don't know, 12, maybe like 12.
And I never knew about it until middle school. So around that same time. And it wasn't something that we ever grew up with. Obviously, on my side of the family, like much more Americanized. I did ask my grandparents about that later on in life. So like in my 20s, and they're like, we didn't celebrate that and blah, 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 blah. And my mom's side too. And it's because I believe that it starts in a specific region of Mexico. And then like, depending on where you are, you either celebrate it or you don't.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly right. Now I think it is more of a practice and there's more awareness of it. I think Coco kind of gave
Yeah, the
it that
movie.
light, kind of gave it the light.
Recuérdame.
And so I think that now it's more popularized because of the movie. But when I was 12, we went to Mexico, and we actually celebrated Dia de los Muertos out there. And it was really beautiful. It wasn't anything like extravagant. Like
Right.
you see here, like Fort Worth, they just had their Dia de los Muertos and they had this huge ofrenda and like bands and all of this stuff. Um, it wasn't quite like that when we went there. You see like the Catrinas and everything here, like everybody like
Dressed up.
dressed up as like the skulls, the sugar skulls, and like really wearing the makeup and the hair and the outfits. But over there in Mexico, what I experienced was actually just groups of families like at the cemetery, just like so many different people with like ollas with like
Their favorite things.
moles
Yeah.
and pan de muerto, like that whole like bread, people with bottles of tequila, people like with the big rings of roses and
Yeah.
flowers everywhere. So it was just like a gathering of people. And so that was the first time like I really understood what Dia de los Muertos was. And it's just like a day where everybody just goes visit their dead relatives and
Yeah.
like they have communion with their dead relatives. And I think that to me is the most beautiful part, because it's like, oh yeah, we forget that the the cemetery is really there for us to honor them and for us to go see them
Yeah.
and feel their energy. Because like to me, when you die, you're still like there's still an energy to
Yeah.
you, you know. And so for me it was just like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like you go and you enjoy the energy that they used to have, or like the memory of them stays alive because
Absolutely.
you honor them, because you celebrate them. And you know, with your choices and what you decide to do in your life, like that's how we honor the dead. And Dia de los Muertos is just the cumulative, like everybody coming together to
Yeah.
do that.
It's almost kind of like the idea of Thanksgiving, for example.
Mhm.
Like it there shouldn't just be one specific day to be thankful for things, but we have it to kind of just standpoint like,
Yeah.
okay, at this point in my life, I'm thankful for this. This is what's
Mhm.
happening. But it ultimately it's one of those things where it just continues throughout your life, throughout the
Yeah.
years. Um so basically what you're describing is kind of like that scene in Coco
Mhm.
where he's running through the cemetery and
Mhm.
there's just people visiting and putting on the grave sites of each of their loved ones the things that they enjoyed and they loved and you know all the special things. um it's definitely one of those things that, like I said, as an adult you understand it a little bit more. As a
Mhm.
child or like in your teenage years, you're kind of like, I think as a teenager we kind of just consider ourselves. We don't
Right.
necessarily think about anybody else unless
Mhm.
it's like really really a big strong connection. um for me, you know, we were told in our in our Spanish class, I think it was 8th grade. I think I want to say 8th grade, I could be wrong. And no, it was ninth grade actually. um and my teacher was one of those teachers that was like, you're gonna do this, and if you don't do it you fail.
Mm.
Like real strict,
Oh.
like real like hardcore. And she was from Panama, so
Oh,
like
okay.
even more of the attitude.
Yay.
But she was like, make an ofrenda out of a shoebox or whatever you have. Make an ofrenda. Pick somebody that you recently lost or has passed away, and you know, describe them to us in Spanish. And for me, that was always really difficult. And at the time, my Tío Pepe had passed away on my dad's side. And that's my dad's favorite uncle. That was my favorite great uncle. His kids are my like very favorite cousins to be around. And you know, we talk about my uncle a lot nowadays, but as a kid I didn't really know, I really didn't understand what death meant, because that was our first like major family member that had passed away.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, he was a great guy. And it's so funny that I look at it now and I'm just kind of like, no, he was so much more than just, you know, a great uncle or a great dad. Like, yeah, like he had his hard moments in life. He passed away from cancer, so he was struggling, but he always knew how to make you feel better or how to make you smile or anything like that. My dad really looked up to him. Um, and then recently, it's going to be 4 years in December that my cousin Erica has passed. And she was young. She was in her late 30s. And it's one of those things that's really, really difficult for me. Grieving is a weird process.
It is.
It's a very, very weird process because the first 2 years that she wasn't with us, I didn't cry as much as I did on the third year and possibly now. Um, that was one of my favorite cousins. That was always the cousin that was always getting into a lot of different things. I would get in trouble as a kid a little bit from my other cousins when we would go and stay with my aunt. They were much older than me, and so they were tasked to take care of my brother and I. But of course, my brother was the same age as them, so if they're gonna treat him like one of them,
right.
And so my cousin would always be like, "No, you're in timeout." Another cousin,
Okay,
you're in timeout. You're or you're being bad or whatever, and they would go and do things by themselves, and it would piss me off. But I would sit there, and Erica would come by, and she's like, "Okay, kiddo, what did you do? Like, what happened now?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not fair because they're older than me, and they get to go do this and that and the other." And I'm just like giving it all to her, and she's like, "You'll be okay." But she would sit with me in that time of just like me being in trouble. And then years later, I don't know if you ever got to go to Camp Grady Spruce or like a camp in like elementary. We got to go, and she was my chaperone. And I hated the outside. I still hate the outside, but I hated being outside because there was a bunch of bees, and I'm allergic.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So anytime we had like extracurricular time to go play, like in like the wooded area, she would sneak me back to the cabin, and we would just eat chips and just like talk about. So my cousin is she's a big deal to me. She still is. Over the years, life happens and things happen, and you get involved with different people. Same thing with us, whether that's good, whether that's bad. And before she had passed, we weren't as close, but she encouraged me to pursue my dreams in music. She was a bassist for my other cousin's band. She was with me when I did my first performance for the Tejano Music Awards fanfare. It meant a lot to me. And I won my first Tejano Music Award, and I found out about it when we were at her wake. So my first award is it's bittersweet for me because I know that she was proud. And so I believe 2 years ago, my tia Susie had a space where she made an ofrenda, and she put her there. And so that was the first time we all ever really experienced like taking part in Dia de los Muertos. And I just want people to remember her for the good things that she did. I mean, all of us, we have our past, we have our things that we're not super happy with, or the regrets of life, but she was a good person. And
no, that's really beautiful. And I think that Dia de los Muertos also represents like the idea that they are still here with us. The idea that, like, we see it in the movie. If you ever watched Coco by like Disney Coco, they did a really good job of depicting the idea that our soul goes somewhere else. The idea that like when you die, you're actually more alive, and your memory, the memory that you leave here, your legacy that you leave on Earth, precedes you, and you're just alive up there. And so at first I didn't, like you said, I didn't understand the concept of death. It's like, okay, you die and then you're gone, and that's it.
And
right. But I think now that we're older, we get to really like feel and see and experience different things, to where it makes us think of the idea of death as something else. And for me, death was always something beautiful. It wasn't anything like didn't grow up scared to die. Partly because my dad, he had leukemia and he had a near death experience. So for me, like near death experiences are like what I base my belief off of, because
Yeah.
I feel like people who die and come back to life, like they had a message to give.
Yeah.
And so my dad always painted it as something beautiful. Like he didn't experience pain. Like it was a journey for sure to like get to where he needed to be and then come back to earth because it wasn't his time.
Yeah.
So I do believe that, like, oh yeah, you do go somewhere else, and they can hear us, they can see
Oh,
us, they
yeah.
can feel us. Maybe us, we can't feel or see them. And so I think that having a specific day to like almost have the veil be so thin between us, or just like us feel like it
Right.
is just like just the most beautiful thing. And the fact that you guys honored your cousin like that is just so beautiful, because you know that she was a good person and she is probably living a, you know, beautiful spiritual life
I know her
wherever she
very
is,
well,
you
and at this
know.
point, she's just thriving.
Yeah.
She was a big personality, so I know her soul is like
Mhm.
just big. You know, there will
Mhm.
be times where, because she used to do like vocal impressions of people when we were younger, and like prank call, and
Oh
so
my
she
god.
was a lot of fun. Okay, she was a lot of fun. She was very crazy. Um, live life to the fullest. But I
Mhm.
do feel her presence in good times. I do feel her presence in, you know, the times that I am not okay. Um, her wake, we actually did. We went to a church service,
Mhm.
and the voice of the father
Oh my god.
sounded exactly like what she would like make fun of.
She was like,
So
I chose this guy for y'all. You're
yeah.
welcome. I'm still making y'all laugh.
So
Like,
me and my brother are just sitting in the pew, and we're like, no, like stop.
it's like
So
not us laughing right now. Like,
I mean, she's in the moments, she's in the funny moments, she's in the quiet moments,
yes.
you know. There'll be songs that come on and I'm just like, oh, you jerk. Like,
Yeah.
you're such a jerk.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, for sure. I do believe that their spirits live on
oh
beyond
yeah.
beyond what we can conceive and perceive. Um, and like my dad, he's experienced a lot of loss in his life. My uncle, mi tío Beto, he passed away. I'm like I've lost count at this point, probably around like 4 or 5 years ago as well. Um, but he lived with us. He took care of me. He like pretty much like raised me for a few months of my life, and he like helped me walk. He was the one who taught me how to walk, and
Yeah.
every time I would go over, he'd be like, "Okay, like are you old enough to carry me now, because I carried you for so long, you know?
Yeah.
It's like whenever I get old, you're going to be the one carrying me." And so I'm like, "Oh, dang it. I didn't get to carry you, you know?" Like
Right. Yeah.
so there's those moments of like, "Oh man." But then you start thinking about like, oh wow, like I had such an amazing loving experience with this person, and why not honor them? So for my wedding, oh my goodness, for my wedding, we actually did honor our uncle, mi tío Beto, my tia, or my grandparents from my mom's side, because they both passed away. My husband's grandparents as well, because they both passed away. We have different cousins and family members, friends who have passed away. And so in our wedding, we had a little tiny ofrenda just to be like,
Nice.
you guys are still here with us. Like, we're still celebrating. We're still enjoying life. Like, even though we didn't get to do the things that we wanted to, like, you're here with us. So,
Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
beautiful. I do remember seeing that too. And
Yeah.
you know, it's crazy to see how much we've grown since we
Mm-hmm.
were kids, you
Yeah.
know? And we've had, you know, Booker T alumni that have passed as
Yes.
well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy to really imagine like them not being here,
Right.
you know? But you know, Dia de los Muertos, for whoever celebrates it, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just privy to Latin American culture, because it's celebrated all throughout the different cultures. Um, if there's any questions about that at all, as far as like how to celebrate it, so that you know what, you know, next year is going to look like for you,
Right.
there
Yeah.
are specific days, I believe, that celebrations happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the second is like for the kids.
Right. Yeah, each day is like something different. I don't know exactly um which day is what.
Yeah.
But I know it is like the 31st is also a celebration of like the All Saints
Yeah.
Day as well as Halloween. Like Latin America doesn't celebrate Halloween, but the 31st is also something, and then it goes all the way to like November 3rd.
Yeah. So I believe that November 1st is the regular Dia de los Muertos, so whoever, young or old. November 2nd is usually for los niños. And then I believe the 3rd is for the animals. I believe it's the pets. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we would have to check, but I know it's like a whole weekend of like just celebrating your loved ones.
Yeah. And there's no like right or wrong way to do it either. I think a lot of people are like, okay, I have to get the bread.
Right.
I have to do this. I have to do that. And I'm like, girl,
yeah, no.
If they like the Snickers bar, just put the Snickers bar on the ofrenda.
Right. Exactly. And a lot of people, like, there is a fine line between appreciation and appropriation, right? So, like, you don't want to just, like, if we're just for a Halloween purpose, wear the outfit or wear the like makeup. If you don't know the significance of it, just don't do that.
And you know you're gonna be asked by a people, because nowadays people know the real meaning behind things. It's kind of like, if you know you're not Native American,
don't wear the headdress, don't wear the skins. No, like
these are
the
like
feathers.
Super
don't do
important to people.
Yeah,
these are super important to people, and it's about culture. It's about, you can appreciate the culture, you can have fun with the customs. I mean, the Latin culture is super accepting and inviting, but to an extent. Like, you can't just,
you have to be respectful. And at the end of the day, like, even if you're not of the Latin descent or culture, like, you definitely should honor your dead. You definitely should put a little picture, even if it's not like a whole ofrenda with, like you said, the bread, the liquor, the flowers. Like, it doesn't have to be that, as long as you're honoring the dead and remembering them for who they were here on this earth in this time. That's all you need to do. It's like, talk about them, talk about the stories, laugh and cry and hug the loved ones who are still here with you.
Go see them at their gravesite if they have one. That's the only thing about my cousin, is she was cremated, and she's at my aunt's house, my other aunt, and that's fine because it's important to them. That was their daughter and everything. But for me, I'm just like, the way that I appreciate her or celebrate her is by telling the stories about her, about all this, the crazy things she would say, the crazy things she would do, her performing on stage. Like, she was magnetic of a force. And I was so thankful to have her for as long as I did in my life. I was very thankful to have my uncle as long as I did. He missed my quinceañera, but I mean, ultimately, I know that he's watching over his children. He's watching over my dad. They say that my dad is starting to look a lot like him. Aww. Which is crazy, but it's true. And, just love on the people that are here, but also appreciate and honor the people that have left.
Yeah, and I think that's the main focus of that cultural, like, tradition for us. But yeah, it's like always nice to remember them and acknowledge that they're still here, whether in physical form or spiritually.
Absolutely. Over here,
I know. Hold on, let me. But yeah, if you have any stories to commemorate your loved ones, we would love to hear them. So go ahead and DM us at Weedy Weedy Banter. We also have a Gmail address, weedywittybanter@gmail.com. And of course, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Love y'all.